Hi, Andrew here, and the mid-game continues. I mentioned we're into the mid-game, where the major positions on both sides have been staked out, and now comes the sparring for advantage. Things aren't moving so fast now. Not moving so fast, Andrew, you say? But what about the news out of Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Quebec? Well, let's think about that. First, let's note that Alberta is Canada's fourth largest province, but it gets an outsized portion of the national news because it is Canada's most conservative province, and the whacked out lefties at the mainstream media outlets, particularly the CBC, hate everything Alberta with the white hot heat of 1,000 suns. So if the Premier of Alberta has a press conference in which he says that the vaccine passports are done, gone, they're going to report that breathlessly and without fact check. Fact check says mostly untrue. Kenney, while he announced that as of midnight last night, the vaccine passport system is no longer in effect, there's a but to that. First, he did not repeal the state of emergency. He did not cancel the project. He said, you don't have to enforce it, which is another way of saying you may enforce it, which he went on to be very clear. Businesses, if you wish to continue to discriminate against people, go right ahead. If you wish to ask for their private medical data, which you have absolutely no right to ask for, go ahead. Not only will we allow you to do that, we will support you with QR codes to make it tougher on those people. That's not an end. Masks aren't gone. Genuinely, the mandates aren't gone. Because he even went on to say, yes, but if we decide to redefine fully vaccinated as 3 doses, we'll bring them back. So no, this is staking out a position. Now, contra the opinion of the far left journalists at the CBC, CTV, and Global News, truckers are not stupid. They heard Kenney, and they turned around and promptly went right back to the border and shut her down again. They didn't want mealy-mouthed Trudeau bootlicking, I'll sort of give you a little bit of your freedom back, maybe if I feel like it. They wanted an end. They didn't get it. We really haven't, the government position really hasn't budged. It's theater. Scott Moe said, as of Monday, I think, of Saskatchewan, which gets very little press coverage because it's a small prairie province, not a large population, no hockey teams. And it doesn't have a tradition of being a right-wing bastion, as does Alberta. So the media, the arrogant media in Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal generally ignore them. Scott Moe said similar things about ending the vaccine passport system and mask mandates are to be done by the end of the month and so on. I can't find a dig into what the genuine policy is going to be, whether he actually did it or he did mealy-mouthed Jason Kenney BS removal. Quebec made similar noises, but at the same time, the only real movement is they did nothing because the big announcement from Legault was the end of the proposed unvaccinated surcharge on the health care. So the only thing that they did was they didn't do. And they're in the same state. They're not removing restrictions. So again, moving the pieces around on the board, trying to go for an advantage. In the meanwhile, the busiest border in North America is shut down. The busiest international crossing between Canada and the United States has no traffic. This is going to really start to bite Premier Flatworm's generous backside. We'll see where that goes. So far, no movement from the spineless worm that we have at Queen's Park. In other news, just following up on yesterday's topic about the Sturmabteilung Schuldstaffen members of the Ottawa police 200, 240 pounds of bully boy thugs beating up on a 98-pound, 78-year-old great-grandfather retired janitor. Brave. They've done something truly amazing. They have put Canada on the front page, the top of the news feed, across the world. The video of them beating on that little old man for having the temerity to not be obsequious enough to their authority has over 2.5 million views as of this morning. They are now the face of Ottawa policing across the world. Congratulations, nice going. There have been a couple of Calgary policemen who have recorded videos in response to this type of thing. One of them was very measured, very calm. Another one, you could see he was choking up because he described this as, you now look like paid thugs doing the politician's will. Well, bought and paid for thugs doing something like that. Well, guess what? The reason they look like that is because that is what they are. The old man has good counsel, and I think that those two officers are in for a very bad, no good, not fun time, and deservedly so. Major change? Not really. An Ottawa judge ordered the armed robbers of the Ottawa Police Department, to return the fuel they stole. No major change. We're in the mid-game. The mid-game is about jockeying for position. And one commentator said, we're now at the lose-lose stage. All of these things that I mentioned about the police and the optics, the government's losing. Shutting down the border, shouting at the bootlickers of the CBC is making the protesters look bad. They're both losing. We're in the lose-lose phase. Where it goes from here, obviously, it is a matter of jockeying for position, trying to gain the upper hand. It's all part of the mid-game. I'll keep you posted. We'll see what happens.